Hello there everyone, my name is Mathew McKenna and welcome back to my channel. There has been so much going on in the world and in my life. If you follow me on Instagram, you would know. If you don't though, make sure you go follow me. I went to Playlist Live in Orlando. It was an amazing time. I had so much fun, but I came back here to Australia in amongst all this stuff, I guess I will say, about the current pandemic. So I thought what better way to get my mind off of it than sitting down and recording some content. And I thought I would give you something that I know that you've asked for, I know that you want, and that is YUNGBLUD Part 3. It's happening, let's do this. My fabulous editor Billy has gone through the comments that you guys have left and has given me a list of the 4 songs that were most requested by you, and those are the ones we're doing today. Let's do this. Before we start though, if you're new here, make sure you click subscribe and turn on notifications so you get notified anytime I upload a new video. Alright, bing bang boom, let's do this. Bing bang boom, I don't know man. The first one we're gonna listen to is called Original Me, and I've just read that it features Dan Reynolds of Imagine Dragons. Is the singer from Imagine Dragons really called Dan Reynolds? I just feel like it would be more badass than that, right? That took me off guard. Alright. Cool aesthetic straight off the bat. I'm sorry, I just need to take a second already to acknowledge the chaotic energy. It's a lot, I don't mind it, it's just always worth acknowledging, because it's been a while since I've listened to anything YUNGBLUD, and coming back and just seeing the limbs flailing around off the bat, I was like, that's right, I remember what we're in for. Wake up and hate to breathe, and I pride myself in that. Interesting delivery of the lyrics. I'm a fan of when artists don't feel the need to like stick to typical like syllable structure of lines. So I always appreciate when I hear someone like delivering things slightly weirdly or slightly offbeat. Oh, I pride myself on that. Such a loser, I'll admit. There's something I'm not normally a fan of in songs happening here, and I'm yet to decide whether I like it. And that's that like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a bass line that is kind of like permanently peaking, and that's why it gets that like weird fuzzy sound, but it's set so low that like it's in the background. I don't know if that made any sense at all, but sometimes I can find that grating. So far I haven't found it grating, so that's a good sign. And it kind of feels like the bass is like the lead in the backing track here, so it's important I don't find that grating. I do appreciate how well both of their vocals have just fit into this style of song though. Yo, it's always so intense watching a YUNGBLUD music video. Did he say sometimes I wish I was anyone else? I mean, I vibe with that sometimes. Like, I find it very, very easy to like long for other things. And I feel like that's kind of partly human nature. Like, you spend so much time in one body and one mind that like anything else kind of seems better sometimes, right? No, just me? All right. I feel like it wouldn't be a YUNGBLUD song if there wasn't just really fast delivery of lyrics. So I love how like in pretty much every Imagine Dragons song, there's that staple, that almost like trademark feel of them delivering those massive shouty lyrics. And YUNGBLUD also does do that sometimes. So I love that in like a crossover, they have both of them just like shouting and going crazy at the same time, because it feels like what should happen, right? It feels natural. And funnily enough, because they both do it in kind of very different ways, it works so well together and melds very well together. So that was like, okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't really like love it. I don't think it's something that I would choose to listen to of my own accord, but it was thoroughly fine. I wouldn't be like, turn that off. I guess that sort of stuff is normally not my vibe anyway, but there's something that kind of happens when you have a song that involves both a lot of shouting and really fast delivery of lyrics. It felt like a rap, but rap that I couldn't really quite understand the lyrics of. I feel like it kind of diminishes the point you're trying to make. Not in the way of saying like those two types of methods are ineffective in and of themselves. It was just that like I couldn't really understand a lot of what was being literally said. And fair enough, maybe that's just my fault, but I don't know, I've really liked YUNGBLUD's stuff when there's a very clear point and a message that I can extract from that, because he definitely does not shy away from messages that could be polarizing. Anyway, the next song we're gonna listen to is called Loner. Let's jump into it. All my friends, it is yet again. Is this older? Because this is his super English style. Oh no, January last year. I've got no one for the quiet life, no forced up smiles over
tired eyes.
This is the kind of vibe that I enjoy from YUNGBLUD. It's erratic, it's not like too erratic. To be honest, I am missing some of these lyrics, but the melody and the composition is hitting for me, and I really like this. All my friends are what again? I need to find out what he's saying. So he's saying all my friends will desert again and I don't want to be a loner. I'm not really sure what that means. I'm assuming it's like all his friends will leave him? I don't know.
Lock me up in a riot van as I hold up my fingers to this old man.
I like that line. Lock me up in a riot van as I hold up my fingers to this old man. There's a certain kind of attitude that he has that sometimes I wish I could resonate, but I know I just could never pull off. I really like the melody of this chorus, especially the way that loner sounds. I also like the way that YUNGBLUD plays with like pronunciation of words. Kind of even does it similar to like Eminem. Eminem like bends the pronunciation of words to make things rhyme. I've always appreciated it. I think it's a cool thing to do. See, for me, like I said in the last one, I'm not normally a fan of that like super dirty, gritty bass, but for this song, it's really working for me. That was a really high-pitched scream, damn. It feels like he's bringing back British punk. I appreciate it, it's just, I didn't really think this sort of stuff would be popular in this day and age, but I don't know why I would say that because pretty much anything can be popular in this day. Honestly, this is what I find so fascinating about pop music and music in like the time we're living in that something being popular does not like depend on a certain sound, right? Pretty much anything has the potential to be popular. If you went back in time 20 years ago or even 15 years ago and said that Post Malone would be one of the, if not the most popular artist on the planet right now, I don't think many people would have believed you. So when I hear this and my immediate thought is like, wow, I'm surprised this is popular, I guess what I should be saying is, why wouldn't this be popular? All right, so the second last song we're gonna listen to is called King Charles. This actually was released ages ago, the 13th of June 2017, so like almost 3 years ago. I am expecting one of the most British things I've ever heard in my life, and I'll be kind of disappointed if I don't hear it. Oh yeah.
Stop it, it's swatty.
What a first line. I am already not disappointed about the Englishness.
Happy! Be fucking happy!
Oh my god.
Shout in silence while searching for a token.
Ooh, the backing vocals are dope.
Took the taxes to fund the evil. Sound familiar?
The vibe of this and the lyrics of this just so much remind me of bands like the Sex Pistols, that like anti-establishment, screw the man sort of vibe that is just like, you don't hear it enough these days. Well, I mean, you do, I guess, just not in like pop music.
It's time to know that at the moment the neglection of young and it's real scary being under 21.
I like that line of like, it's really, really scary being under 21. I think that's something that a lot of people would resonate with. There's so much in the world that like young people can't control. Personally, sometimes I get like very, very overwhelmed with the concept of like, oh, there's just so many things wrong and I cannot do anything about it really because I'm just a 20-something-year-old kid. And that realization can feel very heavy. I don't really know where I was going with that, but this is just what his music made me feel.
Sorry, mate, we're checking your car.
Seriously, so English.
We'll create a phenomenal compression on the heads of the youth. What do we do? Say, what do we do, man? What do we do?
I think that's what he was touching on there, actually. Like I was saying before, what on earth can I do? I just feel kind of powerless sometimes, and it's like he's literally shouting at you there, what do we do? I feel like this must be somewhat cathartic for him.
Which is taking your car now, sir.
Yo, he's getting groovy. I love how the drummer's like not even doing anything anymore, just slamming his, oh, the drum kit's back. That was cool. What I really like about that sort of stuff that YUNGBLUD does is like, it almost felt like the music of that was secondary. What was his like primary goal was getting a message across, and like what he was actually saying, that was more important than like anything else that was going on in that music video or even going on in the music. It was like, listen to what I'm saying, please. And personally, I find that very effective. I think it's really interesting. And I would really, really like to see more of that. For such a young guy, he's just really, really, really good at messaging. All right, so the last song we're gonna listen to is called Machine Gun, in brackets, F the NRA. This one is not a music video, it's just the song. So I have a good idea of what this is gonna be about given the title, but if this is anything like what the title sounds, I feel like I'm going to have very strong agreeing feelings about this, so I cannot wait to hear what he has to say.
I made the news today because I hurt my friend.
I was literally, as soon as the thing said I made the news today, I thought it was going to be sung from the perspective of a school shooter, and that was exactly what it is. I know that I've paused this like 10 seconds into the song. I'm sorry, I already have something to say. I think it is important the way that media handles shootings, especially school shootings, because as we know, a good chunk of these people are committing these acts knowing that they'll get some form of notoriety and that people will notice them, people will pay attention to them. And if you kind of remove that, or at least squash it somewhat, obviously it's not just going to be like, cool, now we have no acts of violence, but it will remove one incentive that these people have to do these things.
They looked inside my brain and turns out I'm not okay.
I think that's a comment on the way that mental health is dealt with, particularly in the States, because the state of mental health care in America is not very good. And the fact that like a lot of younger people as well find it so hard to get help is very much a contributing factor.
I don't give a fuck about myself. You're making us famous. You're making us famous.
Yeah, well, okay, so he's just gone straight in. What is scary is how accessible firearms are in America. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not like in most states you can just walk right in, slap down a credit card and buy a gun with no vetting or no restrictions or nothing at all. But it's just the very fact of like where you can even find them, where they're even accessible. I'm in Australia, I don't even know where I would go to try and find a gun. I don't know where I would buy one, I don't know where I would start that search. Though I do know that a lot of people have gun licenses here in Australia. But even where I just came from, in Orlando, I was in Walmart and I just saw guns on the shelf behind the counter. And I'm like, people can buy this from Walmart, a regular place that people go to buy everyday things and just groceries, and just, there's a gun. There's many guns sitting there. I don't know, that's just wild to me. It's one of the biggest culture shocks anytime I go to the States. Oh, I think I just got a little point of this. Like maybe this is wrong, but he's saying like, I don't care about myself, I don't care about myself. All they do is analyze my mental health. Maybe he's actually saying like mental health is actually being used as a scapegoat, because you do hear a lot of people that are like, no, it's not the access to guns that matter, it's our mental health. And it's like, do you want to do anything about our mental health care? No. I don't want to do that. I hear so many people blaming mental health care and then simultaneously not wanting to do anything about the mental health care. But also like mental health issues are not unique to the States. There are plenty of countries that have poor mental health care and poor mental health overall and don't have a bunch of mass shootings or mass murder because, funny thing, they can't buy guns that can easily demolish like a bunch of people in a room. Funny that.
When I see my machine gun, when I see my machine gun, when I see my machine gun.
I like how in that section where it's like when they see my machine gun, I'm pretty sure pretty much everything we hear is done by his voice. I don't think there's any instruments. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I just didn't catch it. It's just cool to almost hear like an a cappella chorus or pre-chorus.
When I see my machine gun, when I see my machine gun.
That's cool. I like that the little hi-hat beat sounds like a machine gun. It's a nice touch. It's not too often you hear like YUNGBLUD do high notes like that aren't shouted, as far as I can remember. That was actually unexpected and quite nice, that little like high flow. All right, I don't think there's anything else for me to say on the topic of guns in the States. I think I've already said probably too much, but just know that I really appreciated that song. I think it was cool. I think it's important for us to talk about it. And I think it's important for people to take like a strong stance, you know? I feel like at the end of YUNGBLUD videos, I always end up on a heavy note, so I'm just gonna let that sit and we'll end here. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to click that like button, and as always, have an awesome time until I see you next. See ya.